Alone in the Loud House 2, Lost in Los Angeles, by Sebastian Ramirez. It was 3 nights until Christmas in the Loud House, and the Loud family were getting ready for their trip to Hawaii. Everyone was done packing their luggages. The Loud family were very excited to go. Everyone except for Lincoln, who was not interested in going to Hawaii. Well, he likes going to Hawaii, but not during Christmas time. Why do we have to go to Hawaii? He said to himself. They have palm trees instead of Christmas trees there. He sat on his bed and crossed his arms. Clyde has been to Hawaii before, and he had a good time there. I wish I could go to my own vacation alone, so I can do whatever I want. He tried to get some sleep, but he could hear his family's laughter coming from outside of his bedroom. Sorry guys, this is not part of the picture, but don't worry about it. The next day, the Loud family arrived at the Royal Woods Airport. It was crowded and noisy. Lincoln was feeling cold, so he unzipped his luggage and put his jacket on. Dad, wait up, he shouted. Lincoln ran after his family. He ran so fast, he didn't see the airport sign above him to see where the airplane was flying to. See, that doesn't look good. As Lincoln got on the plane, he was listening to music and reading his comic books. He couldn't hear the flight attendant. Good morning, passengers. We are now landing into Los Angeles, California. 36 hours later. Welcome to Los Angeles. Oh boy. When Lincoln got off the plane, he couldn't find his family anywhere. He looked out the window. All he sees were tall buildings and palm trees. This does not look like Hawaii, he said. Excuse me, said Lincoln. Can you please tell me where I am? You're in Los Angeles, kid, said the airport employee. Oh no, shouted Lincoln. I took the wrong plane. At first, Lincoln was scared, but this is his chance to do whatever he wants to do in Los Angeles. First, he took a ride on a yellow taxi. He likes the tour of Los Angeles. He went on a rooftop and saw the Hollywood sign. Hollywood is awesome, he said excitedly. Then he walked on the Hollywood Boulevard sidewalks, where all the famous movie stars get their stars on the sidewalk. Soon it was getting dark. Lincoln was getting tired and needed to find shelter right away. After hours of walking, all Lincoln could find for shelter was an old abandoned apartment building. Inside the abandoned apartment building, there were cobwebs and old furniture everywhere, but at least Lincoln found shelter. Well, it's better than checking in a hotel, he said, yawning. And soon Lincoln went to sleep. The next day was Christmas Eve, so Lincoln decided to go to the toy store right across the street. When Lincoln got inside, the toy store was enormous. There were so many toys, he does not know what to buy. Soon, Lincoln decided to buy a remote-control helicopter. He went to the checkout and went to see the owner, Mr. Daniels. Would you like to donate money to the Children's Hospital? He asked. Of course, replied Lincoln. So Lincoln gave him some of his allowance money. I guess the children needed the money more than I did, he said politely. To thank Lincoln, Mr. Daniels gave him 2 turtle doves. One you can keep, and one you can give to a very special friend, said Mr. Daniels. Thank you. said Lincoln. Maybe I can give one to Clyde. Lincoln left the toy store and looked at his map for directions. He wanted to find the biggest Christmas tree in Los Angeles. Suddenly, someone behind him said, "Hiya, pal." Lincoln was confused. He recognized the voice, but who can it be? Lincoln turned around and screamed. It was Sebastian and Spencer, also known as the Leather Bandits, the two burglars who tried to rob his house last Christmas Eve when he was home alone. "What are you guys doing here?" shouted Lincoln. "We escaped from jail, and we're doing something different," said Sebastian. "Tonight, we're going to rob the North Hollywood Bank," said Spencer, "and this time, there's nothing you can do to stop us." Lincoln ran as fast as he could, and the Leather Bandits were chasing after him. Lincoln pulled out a jar of marbles, and he spilled the marbles all over the sidewalk. Sebastian and Spencer ran so fast they slipped on the marbles and fell on the ground. Yes! Then Lincoln ran straight to North Hollywood Park to hide. Sorry, guys. Lincoln kept running and running until the Leather Bandits were nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, a tree fell on top of his legs, and Lincoln got stuck. Lincoln kept struggling to get his legs free from the tree, but it was no use. Soon a lumberjack approached and lifted the tree up, and Lincoln crawled from the tree. "You okay, kid?" asked the lumberjack. "I am now," answered Lincoln. "I'm Lincoln. What's your name?" "My name is Jack," said the lumberjack. Lincoln and Jack shook hands, and Lincoln thanked him for helping him. "If you see those two bad guys looking for you, you have to fight back because you're a fighter," said Jack. "Maybe you're right," agreed Lincoln. Lincoln ran back to the abandoned apartment building. He needs to build traps for the Leather Bandits. Lincoln unrolled a big piece of paper and tried to find what can he use to build traps. "Time for Operation Naughty List," said Lincoln. "Time for action." Lincoln poured slime on the floor and tied paint cans to ropes. He tied a flour bag to a rope and set it next to a hole in the floor. Finally, he sets a ladder next to another hole. Now the traps were all set. When Lincoln arrived at the North Hollywood Bank, he looked through the window and sees Sebastian and Spencer stuffing money in their bags. "Hey, you knuckleheads," yelled Lincoln. "Come and get me before I call the police." Sebastian and Spencer left the bank and chased Lincoln. Lincoln led the Leather Bandits straight to the abandoned apartment building. When Sebastian and Spencer got inside, they stumbled into all of Lincoln's traps. Yuck! Ouch! Yikes! Whoa! Sebastian and Spencer were climbing down the rope. "Spencer, you're wearing aftershave?" asked Sebastian. "That's not aftershave, that's kerosene," said Spencer. "Why would somebody soak a rope in kerosene?" said Sebastian. "Merry Christmas," said Lincoln. He sets the rope on fire. "Go up!" yelled Spencer. But it was too late. Sebastian and Spencer let go of the rope, fell to the ground, and cans of grease splattered all over them. When Lincoln was far away from the Leather Bandits, he ran straight to the phone booth. "Hello, police?" asked Lincoln. There are two guys in leather jackets who just robbed the North Hollywood Bank and are headed straight to North Hollywood Park. He hung up the phone and tries to escape. But before Lincoln could run away, Sebastian and Spencer grabbed his arms. "You're not going anywhere," said Sebastian. "Let's go for a little walk in the park," said Spencer. "I told you not to mess with us, kid," said Spencer. "You may have won the battle, little dude, but you lost the war," said Sebastian. Lincoln was very scared. "I never made it to the 6th grade, kid," sneered Spencer. "And it doesn't look like you're gonna make it either." But before Sebastian and Spencer could threaten Lincoln, Jack the lumberjack threw a huge bucket of birdseed at them. "Run, Lincoln!" yelled Jack. The pigeons swarmed all over Sebastian and Spencer, who were covered in birdseeds. "This is hilarious," said Lincoln, laughing. The pigeons kept pecking and pecking the leather bandits until the police arrived. It was almost midnight, which meant it was almost Christmas. Lincoln went to look at the biggest Christmas tree in Los Angeles. He was very sad. He misses his family, even his best friend Clyde. It turned out that going on a Christmas vacation alone wasn't much fun after all. "What if my family will never find me here?" he said sadly. "What if I'll never see them again?" Lincoln was worried. So Lincoln decided to give up and go to Royal Woods by himself. He went to the Los Angeles International Airport and waited for the plane. 10 hours later, the plane finally arrived and was ready for boarding. But before Lincoln could get on the plane, he heard a familiar voice. "Lincoln! Mom? Dad?" His whole family were at the airport too. They found him. "Lincoln!" "Thank goodness you're okay," cried Mom. "We were so worried about you, son," said Dad. "I am okay," said Lincoln. "I missed you guys so much." "How'd you know I was here?" he asked. "When we were in Hawaii, we got a call from the LAPD and told us you were in Los Angeles," answered his older sister, Lori. Lincoln's family gave him a big hug. "Can we go home now?" asked Lincoln. "Of course," said Mom. Finally, it was Christmas Day. Lincoln was finally home. His sisters were unwrapping their presents. Lincoln wanted to unwrap his presents too, but he had something to do first. He remembered the turtle doves. Sorry guys, I forgot to finish this, but don't worry, I'll be right back.